Us here on a Friday night to discuss verses from the Bhagavad-gita. I really appreciate that. And we will get started in our discussion from the 6th chapter briefly after these brief prayers to the special master. Om Ajnani-timirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakalam Sri Gurun Vaisnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padhan Bhaganam Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriya Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Gaur Premanande Hare Bol. Okay, so which verse are we going to do today?
7.17.
7.17. All right. So let's get started then with 7.17. So what have we been talking so far in chapter 7 of the Bhagavad-gita as it is? Nothing?
We talked about who are devotees who go into Krishna Sharanam.
Okay. So we talked about...
I know, but I was trying to read the others, so last shloka I remember.
Okay, that's good.
That is...
we can go in the backward direction, last shloka. Yeah. And before that. Then you can open your books. Yeah.
4 kinds of vice.
For wealth, jigyasu, inquisitive, and those who searching for the knowledge.
And the distressed.
Distressed and disaster of wealth.
Okay.
Yeah. Most of us are distressed.
Looking for wealth, inquisitive, and those who are really want
searching for knowledge of the absolute.
Okay. That is good.
Bhajante mam jana sukritino arjuna arto jigyasu artharthi jñānī cha bharat rishabha.
Bharata Rishabha. Yeah.
Bharata Rishabha.
Nice, Kiran Mataji. Okay. Is that all? We spent 4 months.
Anyabhilashta sunyam jnana karma dhyanam.
Is that a Bhagavad Gita verse?
Ankulyena Krishnana.
No, it's from some Puran.
Bhaktiratma.
Okay.
He says, Krishna says how he is the beginning, the origin and the dissolution of everything. And then he tells us all the things that he is in, like he's the taste of water, he is the syllable Om. sound in ether and all. He just
Why is he telling
lists.
that? Correct. Why is he telling that?
Because he wants everyone, he wants us to know that there is no truth that is superior to him, and that he's showing by example what he is. So,
Hare Krishna Mataji, because real Krishna consciousness is when we see Krishna in everything, everywhere, in every person. So Krishna has to count the things. So he says, Raso, so I'm the taste in water, I'm the light of the sun and the moon and all that. He has to count everything before us, before we fallen souls, dull, dead persons. So that's why he's counting.
Yeah, and if you remember that in chapter 6 of Bhagavad-gita, Arjuna said that chanchalam hi mana Krishna, right? It's very
Exactly.
difficult to control the mind. It's very difficult to focus the mind on
yeah.
Krishna. Okay, so here in this chapter, he's saying, okay, fine. At least, from your eyes, you see certain things, right? And from the other sense organs, you sense certain things. Taste of water, right? Light from the sun, like that, right? So he's telling you that here in this material world with which we can interact very easily, it's difficult to interact with the transcendental because we can't see it or perceive it like that in the beginning. So he's giving us a formula. And this is the first step towards God realization, is to find God in everything that we see around it. And I had given you the example of a camera, right? So when you have a camera, you're standing behind the camera and you're focusing on a particular object, what you can do, there are two things you can do, right? You can zoom and you can pan, right? So zoom means what? When you zoom the camera,
Going closer.
Zoom in.
Yeah, you're zooming in. So you're going closer. So when you go closer, like if you're looking at my face and you start zooming into it, will you be able to see the full face?
No.
No, right? You'll be focused on a particular thing, right? So that is zooming. And then pan is that, when you move a little bit away. So you will see not in the face eyes, you will see the wall behind and, everything else, right? So pan. That is why you see in the camera, there is a option that you have a panoramic view, right? So panoramic view comes from pan, where you are expanding the width of your vision. So that is pan, okay? So similarly here in the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, this is the panoramic view of Krishna, where you are seeing him in everything, not just focusing on Krishna, the two hand, the flute like that. You are moving a little bit back so that you see everything. So that is known as pantheism. Comes from the word theos, which means God. So pantheism is when you see God in everything. And this is in chapter 7. He's telling you how to do that. How can I see God in everything, right? Because I'm not accustomed to seeing God. Like if I take this mouse, how do I understand that there's God in it, right? There'll have to be some practice and some knowledge has to be given to me to think that there's God in everything, right? Like that. So, and also he's giving you so many opportunities in which you can think of God. And even that, even the verse that you talked about, was that where Jyoti Mataji was talking about, 4 type of people come, right? Artho, Jigyasu, Artharti. So those are actually also circumstances in which that are offered to you so that you can come to God, right? That Artho means distress. So if we start looking at distress as an opportunity to come to Krishna, when distress comes, we just see it not as distress and get overwhelmed at what it's going to do. We just look at it as, oh, this is an opportunity to come to Krishna. Vipta sadhu tat satpat tat jagat guru bhavato darshanat asyat. So he said, apunar bhava darshanam. So Kunti Maharani says in her prayers to Queen Kunti, right? He said, Vipta is much better. Why? Because whenever we had distress, we thought about you. And then we had vision, you came. And when people have vision of Krishna, then they do not come back to this material world again. So it's a very high level of devotional service that Kunti Maharani is doing, to come to have that kind of a caliber, to embrace distress is a very high thing, is a very high caliber. And it is achievable, but beginners might find it difficult to do.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Mataji, when I was reading Kunti Maharani's prayers, that time I was thinking, is it really correct to pray to the Lord that you give me distress so I'm close to you?
Yeah.
Should we ask?
No.
No. Yeah. No.
We will not be able to bear it.
Handle it. Yeah. Never ask. Krishna has his own plan. He will give. Good or bad, he will give. What are we doing messing up with his plan with our intellect? Right? That's what happens when sometimes when our spouses come to help in the kitchen. Did any of your spouse come to help you in the kitchen ever?
Yeah.
Or is it just mine?
Yes. In fact, doing more
What do
than
they
that.
do? So, and then what do they do?
They will mess up more.
They mess up more.
Take more
I didn't
work.
say that.
My husband makes the kitchen neat and tidy.
Yeah. So that's, so God is there, the perfect cook. So let him choose his own recipes. Let him try out his own recipes, and then let us not mess up with his plan, right? And that's what we do. Krishna has his own plan. We use our limited intellect to come up with solutions to our problems. And then we ask God for that. And he won't give us sometimes. Like that, right? So, okay, so that was that. What else in chapter 7?
Who has full knowledge, who always engaged in his pure devotional service. They are the best.
Did we study that?
Yeah.
He talks of this, the 3 modes of material nature, Mataji.
He talks of what?
The 3 modes of material nature.
Okay, and what are those modes?
It's part of his energy, and then he says that it's very difficult to overcome these, but then if you have surrendered unto me, then you will be able to overcome the 3
And
modes.
which verse does he say that? That this is
14, I
difficult.
think. 14.
What
Is
is 14? Can somebody tell me what is 14?
Devi Hesha Gurmai
Guramayi
Mamaya
Maya Duratyaya Mam
Durate Prapadyante
Maya Metam Tarantite.
Right. Very nice. Okay, good. And then what else is he saying? Go back, open the book. There is no charge for opening the Bhagavad-gita.
Na mam dushritina modha prapadyanti naradhama.
Okay, now what was that?
Those miscreants who are grossly foolish, who are the lowest among mankind, whose knowledge is stolen by illusion, and who partake of the atheistic nature of demons, do not surrender unto me.
Demoniac nature. These
So,
4 kinds of people,
four kinds of people.
they don't come to me.
To him. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, Varshanamati?
Mother, in the 12th, it's really nice.
Yeah, I was also just going to say that. It's very
12?
nice.
12 is trending? Okay, what is 12?
Go, Varshana Mataji.
I thought you started.
No, you go.
Yechaiva sattvika bhava. Rajasastam.
Ye sattvika bhava. Rajasas tamasas chaye mata eveti tan vidhi natav ahamate shute mayi. I really like this, that though they are in goodness, passion, and ignorance, they all are Krishna's energies. But though and still he is independent. Though he is giving, still he is independent of them. So, I mean, he has given everything, and now we have to handle it the way, I mean, it's a job given to us that we have to handle the thing now.
Right. And that he's above them, right?
And he is above them. That is one thing. But how come, Mataji, that he is giving the whole energy? Everything is given by him. He is and still, you see, he's not in that.
Yeah, for me too. For me too. It's a very bewildering statement that I'm the creator of all these, but I'm
independent.
I'm independent.
I'm independent.
Not affected by that. I'm out of
How
that.
smart he is.
Right. And because, and this is the limitation of our intellect. Our material intellect is limited. And so we see in Srimad Bhagavatam, we read the Leela of Krishna on where he opens his mouth and shows the whole Brahman. And inside his mouth, she sees everything, and including Krishna.
Yeah.
Right? So that's a bewildering thing and inconceivable. These are inconceivable potencies of the Lord. And so we rely on the parampara to be telling us about those things because we don't have our intellect to prove it or understand it ourselves. And so that is where faith comes into picture. Right? Because everything else demands a proof. And when you see a proof, then you don't need anything. But faith is beyond proof. Right? Even when you don't have the proof, you still believe in something. So there is faith. And there is faith in everything. So a person who says, I believe in God, has got faith. A person who says, I don't believe in God, has also got faith.
Because he's saying God, that means God is there.
No, when he's saying there is no God, that means he has got faith that there is no God. Similarly, a person says that there is God, he has got faith that there is God. So you cannot get away with faith. You could have opposite faiths, right? But faith is still there. Right? Because a person who believes that there is God will argue unlimitedly to prove that there is God. And a person who believes there is no God will also do the same thing, argue indefinitely to prove that there is no God. So both of them have got strong faith. It's just invested in a wrong object or a wrong concept. Right?
Yes, Mataji, once I had gone in Pune, went to the college to distribute Bhagavad-gitas. And I gave to one person who was atheist, absolutely. And he was not even ready to give the money. I said, okay, don't give me money, but you must be having 10 rupees or something. Give me some money. So he gave me 100 rupees. So the book was for 200 something. So he took it. And he said, but I don't believe it. I said, okay, give it to your mother, give it to your sister, somebody. And if possible, just read 1 or 2 shlokas of Bhagavad-gita. And he said, okay, and then I'll call you. Give me your phone number. I said, I generally don't give my phone number to anybody, but since you are asking, I'll give you. So I gave him my phone number, Mataji. After 10-15 days, he called me up and he said, I have read the whole first chapter and I'm still confused how to get out of it. And then I said, now you read the second chapter. That will help you much more.
Yeah. Wow. Bravo.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, and then what does Krishna say in the beginning of this? Yeah. So all good reflections. Right? Because, and this is important for us to do this recap. Because if somebody goes out and you go out and tell somebody, I've been reading Bhagavad-gita chapter 7 for last 4 months, they say, what is it in Bhagavad-gita chapter 7? You should be able to rattle it out, right? These are the things that we are reading. Okay. Okay. And so what does he say right in the beginning of chapter 7? Right in the beginning.
If you practice yoga in full consciousness with mind attached to me, you can be free.
You will know about
You will
Maya.
know
Be
me
free
fully.
from all doubt.
You will be free from all doubts.
Asansham smagram ma
Samagram.
yatha gyan tat shrunu.
Okay. So what are some of the key words from that verse? Is it the first verse of chapter 7?
Takt mana
Yes.
part.
Yes.
Yogam yunjam madashraya.
Okay.
You had
Keywords
explained,
from
Mataji,
that verse.
touch Runo. You see, that was the most important part. You see, you must listen.
That's what is the most important part. What does that mean?
You must listen.
Must listen. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's very important to listen.
Smagram, complete knowledge.
And samagram is complete, right? All right. And how does it connect with the previous chapter? Look at the last verse of chapter
To
6. What is it?
practice yoga,
Jnana yoga.
yeah, to practice yoga, you need to know about God. And that knowledge can come if you are in the ashraya of Krishna and with full asakti. Then you will get whole knowledge and without any doubt. If we listen to him.
And what is asakti for the benefit of our viewers?
Attachment to
Without
inclination towards God. Yeah.
attachment, right? So, and then, so now chapter 6 was about what?
Dhyan yoga.
Jnana yoga.
Right? So now, which is the best yogi? This is yoga, right? Dhyan yoga?
Who focuses mind on Krishna?
Always,
With great faith.
always think about me.
Bhakti.
Last verse of chapter 6. Yoginam api sarveṣāṁ matgateṇ antaratmana saddhavan bhajatevam sāme yukta tamo mata. What's this translation for that?
And
All
of
the
all
yogis.
yogis, Mataji, please go ahead.
The one with great faith always abides in me, thinks of me within himself, and renders transcendental loving service to me. He is the most intimately united with me in yoga and is the highest of all. That is my opinion.
Right. So he's saying, think about the person who thinks about Krishna. Right?
Mhm.
Krishna, the two-handed form of Krishna. Because in Dhyan Yoga, you can think about anything. There are different gradations and levels of Dhyan Yoga. And so he's saying the highest and the best is that one who thinks about me. Now, how can you think about Krishna? For example, if there's a girl and his father comes and says that, okay, we are getting you married to this guy. And now she's supposed to think about her fiancé.
Mhm.
What will she think about the fiancé?
First of all, she has to know about the
She has
qualities.
to know about the qualities,
Okay.
right? How does he look like? And what does he like? What does he not like?
Yeah.
Right? The same thing here, Krishna is also saying that, okay, this is the best, the person who thinks about me. And now I'm giving you some examples and choices and means of thinking about me. Rasoham apsukonteya prabhasmi shashi suryayo. Right? I am the taste of water. I am this, I am that. Prithvim gandhas, so I am this good smell that comes out from the earth. So he's talking about that, right? And then in the quest towards knowing Krishna and towards thinking about Krishna, he also talked about that there are 4 kinds of people. Chaturvija bhajante mam jana sukritino arjuna. Sukriti means good, pious activities. Artho jigyasu artharti jñānī cha bharata rishabha. So he talked about 4 kinds of people who come to take shelter of Krishna. And then we also said that it's okay, because from Bhagavatam we had quoted that akama sarma kamo va moksha kama udharidhihi tivrena bhakti yogena bhajyajita purusham param. So he said whether you have akama, you have no material desires, or kama, you're full of material desires. In either cases, you should come to the surrender of Krishna. In either cases, whether you have full of desires or whether you have no desires, like that, right? And then prior to that, he'd also said, Namam Tushkrito Mudhas. He had also talked about the 4 types who will never ever surrender to Krishna. Like that, right? So now, having talked about these things, let's go and look at our verse for today.
17.
17. Is it 17?
717.
770.
Awesome. Okay, so let me go to 717 and bring it up. I lost my 717. Okay, this one. Go back. Can you see it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. teṣāṁ jñānī nitya-yukta eka-bhaktir viśiṣyate priyo hi jñānino tyartham ahaṁ sa cha mama priyaḥ. teṣāṁ jñānī nitya-yukta eka-bhaktir viśiṣyate priyo hi jñānino tyartham ahaṁ sa cha mama priyaḥ. teṣāṁ jñānī nitya-yukta eka-bhaktir viśiṣyate priyo hi jñānino tyartham aham sa cha mama priyaḥ. Teṣāṁ, out of them. Jñānī, one in full knowledge. Nitya-yuktaḥ, always engaged. Eka, only. Bhaktiḥ, in devotional service. Viśiṣyate is special. Priyaḥ, very dear. He, certainly. Jñāninaḥ, to the person in knowledge. Atyartham, highly. Aham, I am. Saha, he. Cha, also. Mama, to me. Priyaḥ, dear. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Of these, the one who is in full knowledge and who is always engaged in pure devotional service is the best. For I am very dear to him and he is dear to me. Okay? So let's go back into the words and see. Teṣāṁ, out of them. So out of whom is he saying? Out of them. Out of whom?
Those four kinds of persons.
Right. Those four kinds of persons who come to Krishna. Take surrender. Correct. Artho jigyasu arti. Very nice, right? Teṣāṁ, out of those four, jñānī, one in full knowledge. Nitya-yukta, always engaged. Eka, only. Bhaktiḥ, in devotional service. Viśiṣyate is special. Priyaḥ, very dear. He, certainly. Jñāninaḥ, to the person in knowledge. Atyartham, highly. Aham, I am. Saha, he. Cha, also. Mama, to me. Priyaḥ, dear, right? So he's talking about someone who is dear to him and he is dear, very dear to him. He is very dear to that person and that person is very dear to him. Like that, right? Now let's see. What is the Sanskrit for special?
Viśiṣyate.
Viśiṣyate.
All right. And what is the Sanskrit for dear?
Priya.
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 Okay, very nice. Purport. Free from all contaminations of material desires. The distressed, the inquisitive, the penniless, and the seeker after supreme knowledge can all become pure devotees. But out of them, he who is in knowledge of the absolute truth. What's the name of the chapter 7?
Knowledge of the absolute.
Exactly.
Knowledge of the absolute.
Knowledge of the absolute.
Okay. Who is in knowledge of the absolute truth and free from all material desires, becomes a really pure devotee of the Lord. And of the four orders, the devotee who is in full knowledge and is at the same time engaged in devotional service is, the Lord says, the best. Who is the best?
Jñānī.
Full knowledge, the devotee who is in full knowledge.
Is that all?
Who is busy, who is engaged
Pure
in
devotee.
devotional.
Engaged in devotional service also.
And, yeah, there's a clause there. And by searching after knowledge, one realizes that his self is different from his material body. And when further advanced, he comes to the knowledge of impersonal Brahman and Paramātmā. When one is fully purified, he realizes that his constitutional position is to be eternal servant of God. So, by association with pure devotees, the inquisitive, the distressed, the seeker after material amelioration, and the man in knowledge all become themselves pure. But in the preparatory stage, the man who is in full knowledge of the Supreme Lord and is at the same time executing devotional service is very dear to the Lord. He who is situated in pure knowledge of the transcendence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is so protected in devotional service that material contamination cannot touch him. That's it. Okay, reflections, thoughts, comments on what you heard so far.
while giving the purport, when Prabhupada says that in the preparatory stage, when he is doing devotional service, when he is thinking about Krishna, finally he will get the pure devotional service.
Right.
If he remains busy in that.
Good.
And the association of pure devotees.
Correct.
And to get pure knowledge or to be a pure devotee, one has to let go a few of these things like material desires, distress, inquisitiveness, and penniless, and materialistic qualities should be given away.
Have to be given up, right?
Yes.
Yes. And is that easy or difficult?
It is difficult initially. It is really difficult. But when we get into this Krishna consciousness, slowly we'll start understanding that material world is not permanent. So we should not waste our time in that.
Correct. So when we say that we will gradually progress, right? That's what the purport, Srila Prabhupada said in his purport. So we'll gradually progress. So what happens in progress? How do you see somebody is progressing? How do you distinguish between Chaturvija Bhajante Mam and this one who
We
is
will
progressing?
face some challenges also during our progress. And then when we see that somebody is progressing more than us, we get inspired and would like to work more towards it. That's what I have been able to
And
understand.
how will we overcome the pangs of jealousy that come into the heart when we see somebody better than us? How will that happen? How will we?
Because now we know that all this talent, all this skill, everything is Krishna's manifestation. He has restored these gifts to them as he has restored some skills to us. So nothing to be jealous of.
Nothing to be jealous of, like that, right? And then, and this will come from suitable practice. And that suitable practice, what kind of a thing will make it conducive for you to be able to do that practice is how you all mentioned devotee association. Okay. Satam prasanga mama virya samvido bhajanti hritkarna rasayana katha yajyoshnadapu apavarga vartmani saddharatir bhakti anukramasyati. So satam are the devotees of the Lord. Satam prasanga mama virya samvido. So when people sit together with devotees, and when we sit together with the devotees and we discuss the stories of the Lord, and those stories, those vibrations, they go from our ear. Karna rasayana katha. So when they enter from our ears, then we will enjoy it. We will get the rasayana, we'll get the rasa, the taste of enjoyment of Krishna katha. And then we will go to apavarga. Tajyosna apavarga vartmani. One starts to walk on the road of apavarga. So there is pravarga and apavarga. So pavarga is when you are entangled in the material world. And in the Sanskrit alphabet, one whole line of letters is called pavar.
Yeah.
Right? And we know what does pa stand for, what does bha stands for, what does ma stand for, we know that. And all those things, parishram, bhe, mrityu, all that you will get when you are entangling yourself in the material world. So then apavarg, opposite of that. So you will start walking on the path of transcendence when you go into the association of devotees. And then Shraddha-devi Dasi anukramashyati. Kram means step. Anu means to follow. So step by step, one after the other, they will follow. What will follow? First, you will get Shraddha. Ratir, attachment. And then bhakti. Third stream is bhakti. So you will get that. Shraddha ratir bhakti anukramashyati. Okay? Now, when a person is doing devotional service to the Lord, obviously when we talked about 7.16, we said that Chaturvaja bhajante mam jana sukritam arjuna. Artho jigyasu artharthi jñānī ca bharatareshava. So we said, okay, these are four types of people who come, they ask, and they ask Krishna saying, okay, they came to me, they had some relationship with me. I'll give it to them. In any case, I was going to give it to them. Now they're asking, I'll give it, like that. So, but then it is not pure devotional service. Pure devotional service is described as anyabhilashita shunyam, jnana karmadhyanavritam, anukulyena krishnano, shilanam bhaktiruttama. So, explain the meaning of this verse. We have done it so many times. So,
anyabhilashita shunyam, the one who does not have any desire.
What type of desires? What type of desires?
Material desires.
Material desire. You have to qualify. Yeah.
Jnana karmadya anavratam.
Karmadya.
Karmadya anavratam.
What does that mean? Jnana karmadya anavratam means?
Jnana means knowledge. Karma, they are doing the karma.
Yeah. Anavritam, it is devoid of these two. The propensity to go after and become a jñānī and to do karmic things to, gain some things. So, jnana karmadya anavritam. So, the chaturvita bhajante mam in the artho jigyasu, artho and artharthi, they are not karma anavritam, right? They have got they are looking at the result. They are coming to Krishna for some result, right? So that's why it's not pure devotional service, because they're asking for something, right? For themselves.
And if it is anukulena krishnano, if it is favorable to Krishna, shilanam bhakti uttamam, and that bhakti is the best, uttama.
Yeah. Right? Anukulena krishnano shilanam. Now, most important part there was shilanam.
Shilanam.
What is shilanam? Anukulina. So what is it that you are, so there is action that has to be involved. Right? When you're doing bhakti to Krishna, there will always be action that will be there. Otherwise, bhakti, what is bhakti? Bhakti is love of God, right?
Shilanam, won't it be considered as peace of mind?
No.
Okay.
We'll consider nothing. We'll see whatever the translation was given to us. Anyway. Yeah, so the main point here is that ultimate bhakti is prema pumartho mahan, right? Love of Godhead. That's the ultimate in bhakti that we're going to give. So love is an emotion, right? But this verse is saying that love is love of Godhead, and bhakti is not just all emotion, right? It has to result in, culminate in you doing some work for Krishna. So I can just sit down and not do anything and just say, I love Krishna and describe him, this and that, But then, when there is an emotion in the heart, it will always result in some action. Like, look at the love of a mother.
Do your duty.
Right? When you look at the love of a mother, then the mother does something for the child or not?
It does so much.
Of course.
Right? Yeah. Right? So, of course. So that's what they do. So we have to keep this in mind, that there has got to be some action to be done. And those actions, whatever we do, those actions have got to be conducive. Okay? Conducive to Krishna consciousness, conducive to Krishna, should be favorable to Krishna, right? So now, anyabhlashita shunyam jnana karmadi anavritam. So we said it should be devoid of jnana, okay? And in today's verse, what is Krishna saying?
That knowledge of absolute.
No. Give me the translation of the verse. What is he saying?
The one who is in full knowledge and who is always engaged in pure devotional service is the best.
Is the best. So knowledge.
But I am very dear to him and he is very dear to me.
Very dear to me, right? So all that,
That means both the things are important.
priyo jñānino tyartham, right? So now here, see, it seems to be saying that, this jñānī is very dear to me. And in Anyavilasasham Shunyam Jnana Karma Dhyanavitam, we are saying you should be devoid of Jnana. So what is it? These two verses seem to be contradicting each other, right? So you have to keep that in mind, right? In that words, the all famous Bhakti Rasadmat Sindhu words where we're defining pure devotional service, it should be devoid of Jnana. And here he's saying, oh, jñānini is so priya. So that Krishna is dear to people is a more common phenomena. For example, I go and ask Krishna of something and he gives it to me. He becomes very dear to me, right? I go and ask something again, he gives it to me again and he becomes even more dear to me, right? But here, what is he saying? When he's for the Jnani, what he's saying? He is dear to me and I am dear to him and
He is dear to me.
he is dear to me, right? So now it's a, it's a higher level of relationship that is being talked about here. So what Jnani are we talking about over here, right? Is it so let's look at, what Jnanis are there in this word. Okay. So Anyabhlashita Shunyam Jnana Karmadhyanavritam Anukulina Krishnanu Jnana Karmadhyanavritam, right? So people have got this tendency, some, to rake their intellect and try to find God. And what they want to do is they want to capture Krishna within the confines of their intellect and say, okay, done, ho gaya. Like how when we used to study for exams, we would keep a set of books on this side, right? The main book is there, then the homework book is there, then kunji is there, the key. And what are they called here in America? What do they call kunji in America? There's a word for that. Somebody's notes.
Is that workbook? No.
No. The kids say that. It's the same as kunji. Anyway, somebody's notes, Adam's notes or something like that. Okay, anyway, so we would keep all those, right? And then some borrowed notes from somebody who's very better than us in class, like, can I borrow your notes? We keep all that stack. And then what are we doing as we are preparing for that exam? That there is one book we take and done. Second, we take done. Third, we take done. Fourth, we take done. And it's done. I have conquered Vidya, right? So that's what the Jnani does for Krishna.
Full knowledge.
He wants to have knowledge of Krishna. He wants to conquer knowledge of Krishna, but it is not possible. By this approach, it is not possible to know Krishna. Right? That's why in that verse, Jnana Karma Dhyanavritam, they're saying, do not have that tendency that Krishna is one subject in my exam of life and I'm going to pass it and I'm going to conquer, I'll get 100 out of 100. You can't. Hari Anant, Hari Katha Ananta. Krishna is expanding every moment. You'll never catch up, right? And in any case, our instrument is so little that you can't catch up everything, right? For example, when you take a good quality camera, it catches so many nuances of the picture. If your camera is not a good quality camera, it won't capture all the finer details of the object. Similarly, when our intellect is like a camera, how much can it capture? How much can it understand? It's limited. It's material. And Krishna is not just material. Krishna is transcendental as well. Okay. So here, when he's talking about the jñānī, and he's saying that, teṣāṁ jñānī nitya-yukta. Oh, wow. What does he say after nitya-yukta? Teṣāṁ jñānī nitya-yukta. What is it saying after that?
Eka-bhaktir
eka-bhaktir
viśiṣyate. So this means that he's talking about that jñānī. He's talking about that jñānī who has assimilated information about Krishna. No doubt about that he has assimilated knowledge. But the conclusion of his knowledge is very different from that of a regular, jñānī. The conclusion of a regular jñānī is, this is all that is about Krishna, I know about him. Right? But here he's talking about teṣāṁ jñānī nitya-yukta. What does he do?
Ek-bhaktir
eka-bhaktir
viśiṣyate,
viśiṣyate,
who is specialist.
priyo jñānino,
What does he do?
tyartham, ahaṁ,
Eka-bhaktir viśiṣyate.
Pure
Then what this
devotion.
person has done is that through his knowledge, he has gathered enough knowledge to understand that Krishna is the only thing. Vasudeva sarvam iti sa mahatma sudurlabha. That he has come to the conclusion through his waking his intellect that Krishna is everything. Vasudeva sarvam iti. And then Krishna also says, Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. They are difficult to find. But this is the kind of jñānī that we are talking about. That when a person, through his intellectual endeavors, has come to the conclusion, and then what is he doing? Eka-bhaktir. He's starting to do the bhakti. That person is very dear to me. Because he has used the right one of his knowledge, right? Now, for those of us who I do the class on Sundays with her. There are a set of verses that we have been memorizing this for quite some time now, but I'll bring one that you will like in the context of this class that we're doing. So,
2 point.
so we know that when we were doing second chapter of Bhagavad-gita, so half of the Bhagavad-gita, chapter 2, talks about what? Half of it, first half. What does it generally talk in the first half? Second chapter, very famous. We always read chapter. There's a death in the family. Yeah.
Mataji, in the beginning, Arjuna is still confused, and in the 7th shloka, he says that I want to surrender. I cannot understand. Then in the 11th and 12th shloka also he surrenders fully, and that is the time when Krishna says, then he becomes his guru and he becomes his shishya.
Yeah, but my question was, what does Krishna say in chapter 2? So you didn't answer that.
He says, there was no time, I was not exist. There was never time, I was not exist. Not you, but I know everything.
Okay, so how do you say that in one small sentence? Anybody wants to summarize that?
He says that, there was no time that you are, I was not exist.
No, you are explaining. No, you are explaining that to me.
He was always there.
Sorry?
He was always there.
He's always there. Precise. I'm asking for a precise answer. One sentence, Krishna is eternal. Okay. So that's one point he tells us. Okay, what more does he tell you in chapter 2? In the first half of chapter 2. So he says he's eternal. Does he talk about anybody else also being eternal? Only Krishna is eternal?
No, the soul is eternal.
Correct. Yeah. So then soul is also eternal. So another thing, right?
Yeah.
And then does he describe the qualities of the soul?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then perishable. Yeah.
Right. And then from 2.40, which is kind of like the middle. So what is this called? When he's describing the soul, the properties of the soul, God, all that, what type of yoga is that?
Buddhi yoga.
Yeah.
When you're talking about the soul, qualities of the soul, what type of yoga is that? It's not Buddhi yoga.
Yeah.
Jnana yoga. So.
It's not Jnana yoga also. No, your systematic elimination, you'll reach the right answer. When you are describing the nature of the material world versus the nature of the soul, what is that called?
Material and spiritual.
No, what is that yoga called?
Sankhya yoga?
Sankhya yoga, 500 points. Yes. Sankhya yoga does that, right? And then the later part of the Bhagavad-gita, chapter 2, he's talking about which yoga?
Buddhi yoga.
Buddhi yoga. Another word for Buddhi yoga is? Okay, when you say Buddhi yoga, what is your yoga means to connect? So what does it mean to connect Buddhi?
Knowledge.
How do you connect with Lord? Through buddhi.
Sambhav.
Sorry? Huh?
Being sambhav, being
knowing
equipoised.
about him.
Okay, I am hearing so many answers. I'm not able to understand any of them. So one by one. What is buddhi yoga?
To know Krishna.
Jnana yoga.
Are buddhi yoga and jnana yoga the same thing?
Knowing intellectually about Krishna
Is
he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And when you have that jnana, then you can surrender unto him. Your yoga starts, so your relationship starts with him.
in
Intimately.
buddhi yoga, the relationship starts with Krishna, is it? What about karma yoga then? There's no relationship with Krishna? Tell me, the yoga ladder. What's the
No,
yoga
but
ladder?
buddhi yoga is like when you are trying to attain perfection. And
Bhakti yoga. Bhakti
I'm
yoga.
asking you what is the other word for buddhi yoga. So give me that other word.
oh,
Buddhi
Bhakti
yoga is
yoga?
the same as dash yoga. I'm asking you to fill the dash. Okay, okay. So then here, I'm giving you a clue. Okay, so 2.40 onwards, we say it is this yoga, buddhi yoga, right? And the very first thing he's saying is neha vikramanasyosti pratyavayo na vidyate, right? What does 2.40? Yeah. Swalpam api asya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat, right? So 2.40, open up 2.40 and tell me what is the meaning of 2.40. What is Krishna saying to Arjuna in 2.40?
In this endeavor, there is no loss or
Diminution.
diminution.
Okay. So he's saying, so he's saying in this endeavor, right? What is the endeavor in which there is no diminution? What is the meaning of
Bhakti.
diminution? Huh?
Bhakti.
Sanskrit.
It means to work in Krishna consciousness.
Working without fruitive results.
Working.
Buddhi yoga? Yeah. So buddhi yoga is when you use your intelligence to do devotional service. So buddhi yoga and bhakti yoga are the same. Okay? So don't confuse buddhi yoga with jnana yoga. Jnana yoga is you using your intellect and your mind. So which is above the mind in the hierarchy? Lowest is the
intellect.
dull matter. Above the dull matter. Above the dull matter are the? What is above the dull matter? Huh? Say that. Senses, yeah. Above the senses is the?
Mind.
Above the mind is
intelligence.
Intelligence, right?
And
so
self.
intelligence, as in buddhi yoga, you will use the intelligence that God has given you. He will give you that intelligence to connect with the Lord. And when you use that intelligence to connect with Lord, in that endeavor, there is no loss or diminution, which basically means that if we die today, right now, we will continue in our next life with the same level of spiritual knowledge that we have, transcendental knowledge that we have gained in this life. We'll start from the same level. It won't become zero as it becomes for anything material that we have gained, right? So karma yoga, when we are doing things, artho, we are going to Krishna, artharthi, we are going to Krishna, asking for certain things. He's giving us, okay, I'm from, a lowly person, I became a millionaire, I became a billionaire, I became a multi-billionaire, constantly praying to Krishna, is giving me, and I die. Everything is left behind here. You won't carry it to the next life. Only thing that gets carried to the next life is our progress in devotional service. That's why it's saying neha vikramanasyosti pratyavayo na vidyate, right? So that is 2.40. Now I'm going to bring 2.41, which will be familiar to some of you because we have do that in the Sunday class, right? Vyavasayatmika buddhi eka-bhak kuru nandana bahushaka hyanantascha buddhayo vyavasayinam. So what does it mean? Those who are on this path. What path? The path of devotional service. Are resolute in purpose. And their aim is one. What is the Sanskrit for one? Tell me from the synonyms.
Ekam.
Eka.
Only one,
Eka.
right?
Eke
And here,
Only one.
eka and iha, right? So iha in this world, eka iha. So in this world, in this material world, their aim is only one, right? That becomes ek plus iha becomes eke ha, right? Eke stands for one. O beloved of a child of the Kurus, the intelligence of those who is irresolute is many branched. Do you agree that the intelligence is many branched? If you're of the irresolute, those who are not pursuing Krishna consciousness, their intelligence can be in many, used and bifurcated in many directions. Can you give me some directions into which a person's intelligence can get diverted?
Can you repeat the question once?
My question was that in this verse, he's saying, Vyavasayatmika buddhi ekehe kuru nandana. So he's just saying that you engage, be resolute. And he says those who are not resolute, right, in Krishna consciousness, then their intelligence gets bifurcated in many directions. And so my question is, can you give me some examples of where the intelligence can get here and there, right?
Yeah. You can go to earn more money to make a status.
You can earn, yeah, to make a status. A little bit more on how you could use your buddhi in the wrong manner.
If we are talking about spirituality, they can go to Karam Kand.
No, we're not talking about spirituality.
Hmm.
We're talking about non-spirituality. Can a person use his or her intelligence in the wrong way, in a non-Krishna conscious way? Do you see
Make
that?
money and feel like making more money.
Okay, make money, feel like making more
and
money.
use for material
Comforts, yeah.
comforts.
Comforts, right? What about the Duskritindra, Naradhama? What do they do?
Use for bad things.
Bad things,
Gambling,
right?
drinking, smoking.
Exactly. And then how do I make better wine? How do I make better atom bombs?
Exactly.
Right? So that is not the good use of your intelligence. The best use of intelligence is to dedicate your life to Krishna, which you all have done. Right? So that's why in this verse he's saying, now, what is he saying in this verse, today's verse, 7.17? Does he talk about some focus, some eka, some ek?
Yeah.
Always engaged in my pure devotional service.
About eka.
Oh, one who is in full knowledge.
Eka.
Yeah.
Where is the word eka? There is a word ek in this today's verse.
Yeah, only.
Ek-bhaktir.
Only.
Eka-bhaktir, right? Eka-bhaktir. So he
Yes.
will do bhakti only of Krishna.
Eka-bhaktir viśiṣyate.
That jñānī, through knowledge, has come to the level where he sees that I should not go and worship the demigods. Right? Tam tam niyama asthaya, right? Because demigod means quickly, easily. Right? You get your results quickly and easily. And that's all the demigods can do. They cannot take you beyond that. Right? And so here he's saying that teṣāṁ jñānī nitya-yukta. Very, very powerful words in this verse today. So teṣāṁ jñānī nitya-yukta, he's a jñānī. He's got knowledge. What kind of a knowledge and what kind of a conclusion he's gone from the knowledge is that because of that level of knowledge, now he's saying, eka-ha, I will only eka-bhaktir. I will only do bhakti of Krishna. Right? And how often? How
Nitya.
often is he doing? Give me the Sanskrit.
Nitya-yukta.
Nitya-yukta. He's always. So satatam kirtayanto mam namasyanta cha diravita, right? 9th chapter. The satatam, always, 24/7. Kirtaniya sada hari. So that kind, he's talking about that kind of a jnani who has come to the right conclusions of his pursuit, intellectual pursuit towards Krishna, somehow or other, by mercy of a devotee. He has reached that stage where he's known, okay, now I only need to worship Krishna. So when, or to that person is very dear to Krishna,
to me.
right?
And
It doesn't mean that others are, others are bad. Krishna is saying, okay, they are in different rung of ladder. They are at different stages of devotional service. They are still mine. I'm dear to them also, and I give them also whatever they've asked. But this one who has given up all his material desires, right, and only wants to do bhakti, eka, only of me, concentrated, focused devotional service of me, that one is the real, really dear to me. And you will find that as we read the Srimad Bhagavatam, we find the Yogendras are there. They're full of knowledge. Sukadev Goswami, who recites the Srimad Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj, look at his knowledge. They have got knowledge, right? But then what is the conclusion of that knowledge? What is Sukadev Goswami telling all the time to Parikshit Maharaj? All his instructions are devotional service to Krishna. Devotional Ante Narayana Smriti. At the time of that, you should only remember Krishna, right? So when we try to connect with Krishna, there are certain things that we have to keep in mind, right? One is that I can get connected to Krishna through tribulation. Tribulation means? From our Chaturvida Bhajantiman, which one will it be? Tribulation. Chaturvida Bhajantiman. Jana, Sukhi, Arjuna. Huh? Give me the Sanskrit. Arto. Yeah, Arto. Not Jigyasu. Arto. Distress, right? So you can get to Krishna with tribulations, right? You can get connected to Krishna with tribulations, but that's not a good idea. And why? Because it's not satatam.
Not always.
Because you get problem, you seek out to Krishna, and then problem is solved. You forget Krishna. And then 6 months later, problem comes again. 6 months, what you did, nobody knows. What stays in what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, right? And then you go 6 months later, again you have problem. Again you go to God. Again it's a solve. Again you're happy, right? 2 years down the lane, again it happens. This time it doesn't get solved. And then what do you say about God? He does not exist. Right? So it is not conducive. That stage at that level, tribulations is not a very conducive way of getting connected to Krishna, right? I want you to keep that in mind. So then what can I do? What more can I do on, connecting to Krishna? Well, emotions. Through emotions, I can get connected. Oh, I love Krishna. Oh, I love Radharani. Like that. But then emotions vary, right? Do you think your emotions vary throughout the day? Or are you in the same emotion all over?
No, they vary.
Emotions can come and go depending on whether Krishna reciprocated or not. We are not like Kunti Maharani who will want tribulations. I can do Satyatam Kirtanam. Yeah, like that. So you cannot just go and do that, right? So the only way in which you can do Satatam Kirtayantomam, Ekeha, only on Krishna and constantly to Krishna, is you should have the conviction that I should do worship of Krishna. I should surrender to Krishna. You should have that conviction. Satam prasangam mama virya samata, and that will happen in the association of devotees. And you're listening to Krishna Katha, chanting. So slowly, you will get Shraddha. First it will be Komal Shraddha, and then it will become Dhrad. Like that. Okay? So keep this in mind in today's verse. This is the type of person that Krishna is talking about. He's not talking about jñānī, so don't get confused that, oh, Krishna said that in that chapter, and here he's saying good things about jñānī, so it's better for me to be jñānī, as I understand it. No. Jñānīs are usually Mayavadis. They go all the way up to the effulgence of the Lord, and they think that they can merge in the effulgence. That's the general word for jñānī. But the jñānī that Krishna is talking about here is that that person, from his jñān, from his knowledge, it could be Sankhya knowledge also. It could be looking at the material world also, and looking at the material world and realizing that there is nothing which is permanent in this material world. And these material things do not give us any happiness. Shruti Sukham, you only hear about happiness, right? So he has come to that conclusion through his process of jnana, and his conclusion was, I should go to God. I should turn to God. And that one is the most dear to Krishna. Om Tat Sat. Any reflections, any questions that come to your mind? Any doubts?
Keep Krishna always in mind.
Keep Krishna always in mind and keep doing something. Rather than just saying that I have got Krishna in my mind, I have got this memorized,
Bhakti, devotional service.
Yeah, get up from your seat and go do something for Krishna. Whether it is making bhoga for Krishna, whether it is going out and distributing books for Krishna, you have to do some work.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah. And yeah, also to remember that materially exhausted, that's what the material desire should be exhausted. And one should understand that once I'm doing pure devotional service to Krishna, then our material desire should not be there.
Yeah.
The only desire in our heart should be that I want to serve Krishna, I want to serve Krishna, I want to serve Krishna. Like that.
Mataji, when we have that mind set, like I want to serve Krishna, I want to do the devotional service, I want to do something like that, then automatically material desire will go.
That is true, and that is a very good point that you raise. And it says that in Bhagavatam, actually, when Vyasadeva had written the Vedas, and what are the Vedas telling? He was just focusing on the fruitive aspects of the Vedas. He did not talk about Krishna, right? True. And then Krishna, his spiritual master, Narad Muni, he goes and tells that, jnana is a concomitant factor of bhakti. When you do bhakti, you will get jnana. But then there is a little, a cyclical thing also there, that you get some jnana, you do bhakti, then you get jnana, right? And you get bhakti. And then the jnana also expands. For example, in the beginning, when we have jnana, then we have jnana about the opulence of Krishna, the aishwarya of Krishna, the greatness of Krishna. We have jnana on that, right? But then later on, and then of course, then we'll say, Bhumi apo analo vayu khamano putiresha. This material world is also Krishna's, right? Right? So that is one level of knowledge. But then the next level of knowledge that comes is that in this material world, there is nothing permanent. In this material world, there is no happiness. So that once you get that, am I audible? Some phone call came. So once you get that, once you get to that stage, once you get that understanding out of this, that in this material world there is no happiness, then you will try to find out where is the true happiness that I get.
That's true.
Right? And up until that, when you don't have, then you will try to dabble here and there in material objects, get bitten by a material world. Mama Maya Duratteya, she'll bite you. Right? If you touch her. We keep on doing that, right? But once you reach to that conclusion that, okay, through my understanding, I have understood that there is no point, there is no happiness in material world. Actually, when I try to get some happiness, my distress starts at that very moment when you try to be happy.
Thank you, Mataji.
That. Should we call it a day on this call today?
Last point I didn't get when you said my distress starts when I start seeking happiness. Is that I heard it correctly?
Yes, I said that. And I didn't say that. Actually, Prahlad Maharaj says that in 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. And so how does the distress start when I start thinking of happiness? Okay. So let's take the very popular thing that people think will make them happy is to get the best car that is out there in the market. Okay. So what's the best car out there in the market these days? I'm not a car person, so I don't know. Which is the one trending these days? You also
Tesla.
People have Tesla,
Tesla?
Mataji, these days.
Tesla, is it? Tesla? Okay. So Tesla is going to make me happy, right? So my thing is like, okay, let's get a Tesla. Tesla is going to make me happy. So this was a sankalp, right? I want to have a Tesla. Tesla is going to make me happy. And now immediately after that, you start planning, right? How am I going to get the Tesla? So how are you going to get the Tesla?
Need more money.
Say that again.
You need more money.
You need
You
more
have to
money.
collect that money.
How
yeah.
to make money?
No, you need to go to a dealer to get the Tesla.
You have to go to
Without
the
money,
dealer.
how
Where
come?
was the money? Money
Or
was in
you
the
have
bank
to get a
already.
loan to the bank.
Was already in the
Hmm.
bank. Was it already in the bank?
No,
How to
loan,
make
No,
money? How
Mataji,
to
now he's
arrange
trying
money?
to
loan in
find
the bank.
You want a Tesla,
that
so you
money
will
to
somehow
buy
or the
Tesla.
other
Money for loan.
get the money.
Somehow or the other you'll get the money. Okay, let's see how somehow or the other we get money.
Yeah.
Some wrong ways, some right ways.
Okay,
Why
what
No,
are the
no,
right ways
no,
of getting money?
not the wrong way.
You'll have to start working hard.
You have to start working hard. Okay, and then after working hard, you'll get enough money to get Tesla? Is the 100% guarantee?
No, not at all.
No.
Not at all.
Mataji,
Is
you
the, is
take
the,
us.
is the unhappiness coming in?
Yes,
Yes.
because you're
That
forgetting
realization,
Krishna.
that realization that I want a car, and even I work so hard for the car, there's no guarantee that I'll get my boss is
Yes.
going to give me the raise
Yes.
that I need.
Mataji,
Yeah.
he takes a loan and gets the car,
Yeah.
and then he has
Oh.
to get the EMI every month, and that becomes a problem for him, and it carries on,
The
Mataji.
same question.
Distress, that is also kind of distress.
That is and that's the distress that Prahlad Maharaj is talking
Yeah.
about. The happiness is like that. You just pursue it. You'll just keep running after it because you'll never get it because there's no happiness in this material world. It's like a mrik trishni rupa. It's like an optical illusion. It seems to be there's water in the desert, but there's no
Mirage.
water, right? However, Srila Prabhupada says that the very word mrik trishni rupa means there's a mirage, which means that water is supposed to be there is not there, which means that there is something like water. That's why we're saying it seemed like water is not water. There is some water. Okay, let me now go and find out what is the right water. Buddhi yogam upashtitya. So then when you go and surrender to Lord, that is when you'll get the real water and no optical illusions in that case. And no
Happiness is a mirage.
happiness is a mirage. Happiness is mirage, and it's a state of the mind. For example, I always give you this example of suppose we buy a Tesla, right? And we are very happy. 5 years down the lane, we sell the Tesla and we are very happy. So how can we be happy at two very opposite things? It's a state of the mind. It's a Shraddha. It's your faith. The first instance you had the faith that getting a Tesla is going to make you happy. 5 years down the line, your faith is that, let me get rid of that Tesla. It'll make me happy. That's what men do, right? Some of the rich people you hear, yeah, this girl is going to make me very happy. They will go pursue, marry. And then 2 years, 3 years down the line, is a heavy divorce settlement is happening. And then they're going to get married again. And another divorce settlement. And again, and again, and again. Because they are pursuing happiness, which is not there in this material world. Right? On the other hand, right, Kunti Maharani, she's praying and she's saying, oh, we had
Very
Vishan
happy.
Mahagne Purishad Darshana Asat Sabhaya Vanvasa Krichata Mride Mride Neka Maharatasro. So like we had so many things, right? People gave us poison to my son. We were put on fire, the Lakshagraha thing, right? We were put to Vanvas like that. And the Maharatis came and talked. And this Dronacharya's son, he threw this Brahmastra on us. All these things are happening. And then she's saying, oh, but you were there, Krishna, with us. So see how horrible things are happening, but look at the state of mind of a devotee. The state of the mind is fantastic because he's aloof from all these things.
And on top of
Are
that,
you
she's
going to
saying
work
that
out?
you give me more pain, more distress, so that you are always close to me.
Yeah, that's Kunti Maharani, not recommended on internet. It's a heavy thing, right? It's a heavy thing. It's a heavy thing, especially when we are saying that give me more, that it could smell a little bit of a challenge and a little bit of a pride and an ego in ourselves that, I'm capable of handling all these. I'm such a fantastic devotee. And so Krishna, give me some more and then I will do that, right? There are so many other ways of getting close to Krishna than just through the distress route.
Yes, yes.
So let's not explore that route, because we can succumb in that route and it'll be terrible. It could be terrible, right? So let's not invite trouble ourselves, but if Krishna gives us trouble,
we're not equal to Kunti Maharani.
we are not Kunti Maharani.
No.
Yeah.
Where she has patience. No.
And to go back to Godhead, that's not the only route that you have to be completely, like that. Material desires have to be given up. Not necessarily that you should get tribulations. Your material desires have to go away. And then it will be Cheto Darpana Marjana. Your mind will be cleaned.
Thank
Anything
you.
else? Before we call it a day on the class, any last questions, comments, anything? All right.
That I don't have any answer for that.
Awesome.
Need to go through it again, Mataji. It's a very deep.
Today's chapter was a deep one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was heavy. Yeah. It was heavy. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Simi Mataji. After a long time.
Mataji, Dhanvat Pranam, everyone.
Were you saying something, Sumi Mataji? You switched on your video.
I just did. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Then we'll call it a day. We'll meet on Sunday, memorizing our verses.
Thank you so much.
Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Goprimanande Hari Hari Bol.
Hari Hari Bol.
Thank you, Shraddha Mataji.